Hi, my name's Heather Marriott, and this is just a little introduction to Excel and cell referencing. This is a blank Excel worksheet. I've got different columns, column A, B, C, D, different rows, row 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can select any cell in my worksheet. When I select the cell, I'll see a dark outline around that cell, and that cell becomes our active cell. To put content in the spreadsheet, you just select the cell that you want the content in. I'm going to select cell A1 and I'm going to type in the word name. Then I'll move over to B1 and type in salary. And when I talk about salary, I'm going to talk about dollars per hour. And then in cell C1, I'm going to type in hours worked. And cell D1, I'm going to type in pay. Now sometimes when you add the content to the cell, there's not enough room, the column size is not large enough to display all the content. For example, cell B1, it's cutting off my dollars per hour. To resize that column, I'll just move the mouse in between the two columns, in this example B and C, and notice how the mouse changes, the icon changes when I'm exactly between columns B and C. When the mouse changes, I'm going to use my left mouse button and I'm going to hold that down and drag the column width, and I can make the column smaller or larger. You can also move the mouse in between columns C and D, and this time I'm going to click the left mouse button 2 times, and this time it'll automatically resize to the best fit possible, what Excel thinks is the best fit. Let's add some more content. I'm going to add 4 employees under name. Let's say I've got Jim, Kim, Tim, and Slim, and these are my employees. And I'll put in a salary for each employee, $20 an hour, $25 an hour, $16 an hour, and $30 an hour. What about hours worked? Let's say that they all worked 40 hours. So I could type in 40 4 different times, but here's a quick way to fill that in. I'm going to select 40, type it in once, then select that cell C2, that's the active cell, and notice what happens to my mouse when I move it to the lower right-hand corner of cell C2. It changes to this plus icon. And now I can hold the left mouse button and drag this down, and it will fill in the number 40 as long as I drag that down. So in this case, it doesn't save me a whole lot of time because I'm only dragging it down 3 rows, but let's say I have 100 employees. That would be a big time saver to use the fill handle that way. All right, calculating the pay for Jim. This is the first time that we're adding a formula to Excel. All formulas and functions will start with an equal sign. So you start with an equal sign, and then to calculate Jim's salary, you could put in 20 times 40, and that would be one way to do it. But the disadvantage to typing in the formula that way is that what if Jim gets a raise, and what if he's making $21 an hour? So if we change his salary here in B2, his pay needs to be adjusted. That formula here needs to be fixed. You can see there's a formula bar that we could go ahead and update his formula for his salary there. But a better way to do it is I'm going to click up in the formula bar and I'm going to backspace. And instead of typing in the exact numbers, I'm going to use cell references. I'm going to use the mouse and I'm going to click on B2, and that'll put that in the formula, so anything in cell B2, and then I'm going to multiply that by whatever's in cell C2, which is, so this will give me the same thing. It'll be 21 times 40, but it will calculate that using cell references, in this case relative cell references. So now if Jim has a change in salary, I change his salary in one place and voila, his pay is automatically updated because that formula is pulling in cell B2 to figure out his salary. So I could type in the same type of formula for Kim, Tim, and Slim, but instead I'm going to use the fill handle again. I move the mouse to the lower right corner until it turns into that plus sign. Hold down the left mouse button and drag this down. So if I click on any one of these cells, like cell D3 to figure out Kim's pay, I can look in the formula bar and I can see that when I dragged that down, that formula down, it updated the row number from row 2 to row 3, which is exactly what I want. And that's the behavior that you'll get when you use relative cell references. Let's try something else. I'm going to say this is Christmas week and everyone gets a holiday bonus. So I'm going to type in off to the side in cell F3 a bonus value of $100. Now to add $100 to Jim's pay, I'll just click on D2 and I'll go into that formula bar and I'll click to the left of it and it allows me to update that formula. Notice that it's highlighting any cells that are used in the formula. So I'll just append to the end of that formula, add a plus sign, and click on F3 to insert that bonus of $100 and then hit enter. So that worked fine for Jim, but can I use the fill handle to fill in the latest pay with holiday bonus for the other employees, and it's not working the way I want it to. And the reason is the behavior for that fill handle as you drag down is it tries to update that row number by 1, which is what we wanted before, but now that's not what we want. So we're going to fix that by putting a $ in front of the number 3. The $ will lock that in. This will become a mixed cell reference. It'll say that as you drag this up, down, left, or right, do not change anything that has a $ in front of it. So I've got a new cell, a formula in that cell, and I'm going to drag that down. And that formula will say, always reference cell F3, no matter where I'm dragging this. And now I see that that holiday bonus has been applied to my other employees. So that was just a quick introduction to Excel. Hopefully I'll be adding some more videos soon. Enjoy!